All right, let's talk really quick about transformations of parent functions. So just a reminder, there's three types of parent functions we have talked about, which is the linear, okay, y equals x, absolute value, y equals the absolute value of x, and quadratic, y equals x squared. So these are the three types that we have talked about of parent functions. There are others, and you will talk about those in another course. All right, so let's just look at three examples here and identify their function. So if I have a straight line like this is linear. A U-shaped is our quadratic. And the V-shaped is the absolute value. Okay, so now we're going to get into the types of transformations. We have four different types that we have talked about, and they're, okay? So we've got our parent function plus k, plus some number k. That shifts our graph up k units. If I'm subtracting k from the parent function, then we're shifting down k units. All right, in the next two, these are dealing inside the function itself, parent function itself. So if I'm adding something to the x inside the absolute value or to the x inside the square root, that is going to shift our graph left k number of units. And if it's subtracting inside that, we're shifting right k units. Okay, k and h are just any number that we use or have, okay? They're any whole number. So let's look at a couple examples. I've got f of x squared minus 4. So this is not inside parentheses. So we are shifting down 4 units. Okay, and so this is what our graph would look like. So there's my parent function. And notice if I were to graph it, I would drop it down 4 spaces. So compare that to the parent function, and we drop it down 4 units. Okay, if I've got f of x equals x minus 1 squared, okay, that's in parentheses. So compare this one to the last, right? This is telling me I'm shifting right 1 unit. So as you see the comparison from the original to what we did. I am putting the parent function on the graph. You do not need to. All right, so I've got f of x equals the absolute value of x plus 3. Again, we're inside the absolute value. So because we're adding 3, we are shifting 3 units to the left. Okay, and our last one now, we've got f of x equals x plus 2. So let's look at what this would think, okay? On this one here, when we're dealing with linear, we're actually doing 2 transformations in one. We're shifting up 2 units and we're shifting left 2 units. So this is why we didn't deal much with linear in our exploration, is because linear is hard to tell what actual shift we're doing. Okay, so now let's look at a few examples of just describing the transformation. So we're looking here at number 1. We got y equals the absolute value of x plus 9. Well, we're adding 9 inside the absolute value, so we're going opposite direction of what we think. So that means we're shifted left 9 units. Okay, looking at number 2, y equals the absolute value of x plus 2. 2 is outside, so we are moving our graph up 2 units. And our third one, y equals the absolute value of x minus 5. Okay, we're outside the absolute value, so we're shifting down 5 units. And then we've got y equals x minus 6. Well, inside the absolute value, so opposite direction of what we would think, so it's minusing, so we're shifting to the right 6 units. All right, let's look again at this next, it's number 5, very similar to the absolute value with the quadratic. It's in, so we've got y equals x plus 4 squared, all of that squared. So inside the parentheses, we are adding. So we are shifting left 4 units. And then I've got y equals x squared plus 6 on number 6 here. We don't have parentheses, so it's what we would think. We're adding, so we're shifting up. And then y equals, okay, parentheses, x minus 3 squared. So inside those parentheses, opposite of what we think, right? So since we're subtracting, we are shifting right. And our final one on this slide, y equals x squared minus 1. So it's not in parentheses, so it's either an up or a down. So it's minusing, so we are shifting down 1 unit. All right, let's look at the last couple examples here. I've got, now on these ones here, notice I have 2 transformations being done in these equations. And that's fine, it works. We can have that. Y equals absolute value of x plus 5 minus 2. So let's look at this first one here inside the absolute value, right? What does that tell me I'm doing? Okay, it's plus 5, right? So it's opposite of what we would think. Since we're adding, we're moving left 5 units. And then when we look at this right here, minus the 2, well, that's our up and down. So since it's minusing, it's down 2 units. So this one shifted left 5 units and down 2 units. All right, what do we think about this last one? X minus 4 squared plus 7. So start with your left and your right. What are we doing? We're minusing, so we're shifting right 4 units. And then since we added 7, we shifted up 7 units. All right, that's all I have for you in this. I will see you in the next.